as possible. So today I will pick up where we left off in Proverbs chapter 4. A father's wise advice. My children, listen when your father corrects you. Pay attention and learn good judgment. For I am giving you good guidance. Don't turn away from my instructions, for I too was once my father. Hi everyone.
So we know this article is
Okay. I just trying to read up on this person, and then all of a sudden they had a Bible reading channel, and I'm sure this Anita Sarkeesian video is gonna go over well. So let's see how this goes.
Anita Sarkeesian. Those of us elder gamers or even gamers
How can
from
you
10
still be
years
talking
ago
about her?
know about her when she rose to her very
Please,
short
God,
5 minutes of
do
fame
not talk about
for infiltrating
the way
the
she
gaming
talks.
industry despite not being a gamer
Oh my
herself,
Jesus.
and starting her own Kickstarter campaign.
It's so hard to become a gamer. Nobody but us real gamers know what we have to go through. It's very difficult. You can't just wake up one day and be a gamer. You have to live that lifestyle.
To fund her own gaming reviews called Feminist Frequency, which basically tore apart so much of what we love about video games and tried to make it a feminist issue and destroy our female video game characters. And effectively, she succeeded in a lot of ways, because this is what started a lot of the downfall of female video game characters being changed from iconic, beautiful, strong, just unique personalities, looks, all that sort of thing, into these more...
You're pointing to a PlayStation 1 character that had triangles for boobs.
Beautiful character. Athletic.
And it's just a random generic skinny girl. Yes, okay. That's definitely how that works.
drab, bland, forgettable characters that we are seeing a lot more of today. All right.
And
so
that's because of Anita.
There's good news yet, though. Feminist Frequency is being shut down. I didn't even know it was still up. So, I mean, she's all.
But I had to make a video on it.
Irrelevancy for the most part. And hence why we're here.
Streamlabs, of course.
Now, I even particularly got into a debate with her on Twitter years ago talking about Lara Croft, and because, you know, she was calling classic Lara Croft a sexist trope. And when I further proceeded to ask why, she didn't really give an answer. I think the most...
That's an argument, all right.
What? I had a conversation with myself on Twitter the other day, and they didn't respond back, and that was me destroying them.
The best answer she was able to come up with was that she wears shorts. Uh-oh.
She didn't respond, but she definitely would have said that wearing shirts or shorts was the issue with Lara Croft, even though she made a whole fucking video about that.
Uh-oh.
Okay. She too wears shorts, I guess. Anita, known for being against wearing shorts. That's, yeah, okay.
All right, so...
All right. Let's get it,
I
boys.
just don't have the
I
energy
just
for
don't
this
have
kind
the
of stuff.
manners
Now,
to
before
deal
I
with
dive
this.
into video too, I speak out about the retardation that feminism has come into.
Boy,
and
we are
has
really
become,
getting it,
and how
aren't we?
It has desecrated and ruined so much. But do not mistake that for me getting involved in this gender war crap. I'm sick of it. It's all over the place, and we're seeing an overcompensation of it. Just because we can call out a lot of flaws here with feminism doesn't mean that we're going to sit here and hate on women as an entire gender. Just like I speak out against these feminists trying to hate on men as an entire gender. It's gotten stupid. We're seeing a lot more from liberals hating on men, which I have been vehemently fighting against. And now all of a sudden from the red pill side, we're seeing even more and more hate on women. Let's just get along.
Which they haven't done before. This just randomly happened out of nowhere, guys. I don't know why it's happening.
Who is she fucking arguing with? A picture of Anita? She hasn't said anything yet. Goddamn.
For the love of freaking crap. I am not even engaging in this right now. It's all over Twitter, it's all over everywhere. Even people I respect are feeding into this stupid gender war. Can we not? So right now I'm going to focus on the problems.
Thank you, old Miss Girl. Thank you so much.
But let's
You're
not
really fighting the good fight
overcompensate
here.
All right, so this is from Polygon, so we know this article is probably going to be incredibly biased in the wrong direction, but let's just read what they have to say and I will add my opinions in there. So it says, Anita Sarkeesian is shutting down feminist frequency after 15 years. I didn't even realize it was 15 years old. Wasn't her Kickstarter campaign 10 years ago? Around this time, I believe. I remember at the time having this.
Hey, retard. Yeah, so she did stuff before the Kickstarter that y'all got ass heard about for 10 years. So yeah, that would, I guess, be the case.
Discussions about it, watching her videos and all this stuff, and at the time I was like, whoa, wait a minute. This is stupid. And
Groundbreaking. Folks, let's call it a day. God damn it.
And I was met with replies from peers saying, but is she wrong? But is she wrong? She's right, though. She's right. And I was like, I don't think so. And then now, I mean, just look at what we're seeing with gaming. Look at the thing is, I'm already getting ahead of myself before reading this, but the thing is, when it comes to video game characters,
no agenda, by the way.
Why characters like Lara Croft, this is the one that women, even women, okay? Women like to cosplay as this version of Lara Croft.
Women will literally cosplay as any fucking female character. What does that even mean? Oh, I didn't add tags. Whatever, I don't think that matters.
More so than the new one. Look at Mortal Kombat and the characters. Women like to, when it comes Halloween time and they're dressing up as the characters, who are they dressing up as? More of the classic Mortal Kombat outfits, a lot more than the modern ones. It's because when you have a character and
classic Mortal Kombat characters instead of modern Mortal Kombat characters, don't they keep using the same characters and just like add on some additional ones when new games come out? So I mean, yeah, that would kind of track, I guess. What? You should listen, gal. You should go back to reading the Bible. All right, this ain't for you.
Becoming iconic and a global, worldwide name, recognizable name. They need to be extraordinary. Okay, there needs to be some element of something extraordinary about them. Usually, it's the whole package. It's the personality, it's the actions, and it's the looks, right?
No, you're not right.
You really detract from a lot of those. Like, say, for example, you have a main character who may not have the most extraordinary appearance. Well, they better make up for it in other ways. Maybe they have an extremely unique look that's not your ordinary, or perhaps it's just their personality or their mission.
Can we skip ahead to where she's not being an autistic fucking retard on here? My God. Oh, other people did this as the most replay part, where they just got through this rambling about,
this is actually why people cosplay as certain people, which definitely relates to Anita Sarkeesian in some way.
What they're doing, what they're accomplishing, and their actions that take that character to the next level, and that make that character so much more recognizable. Let's look at Saitama from One Punch Man, for example. When you see him, especially in his standard form, when they don't draw him like, you know, even so, like, this is a bald dude, right? This is a bald anime character who doesn't necessarily stand out as this hyper.
Is this the fucking main character of the One Punch Man thing?
Character, right? And most of the time with protagonists, we see that super hot character. Not that bald people can't look good. So sorry to my baldies. This isn't a.
Did they make the cartoon character not sexy for you? The child is not sexy for you, unfortunately. My goodness.
I'm just saying, we're realistic here. We know that doesn't necessarily fit beauty standards, right? There's just some that can pull it off and that still look good. But Saitama, as
moving on,
he isn't extraordinarily standing out, right? But what makes him stand out and what makes him such a memorable character is the combination of his ability being One Punch Man in conjunction with his personality. I mean, the dude honestly had a great personality. He's pretty humble and all
Can you?
that, but he
Oh
doesn't
my
fit
God.
your like stereotypical protagonist in a lot of ways.
Why are we talking about
so
One
he's
Punch
just a
Man?
general super light.
We could not be
character,
further away from
and
Anita
he's got
Sarkeesian
this
at this
insanely
moment. At this
awesome
moment in
power.
time.
And so that's what makes him stand out. And so if you are going to uglify female characters or make them more bland, at the very least, you gotta work triple overtime on the personality. But with what we've seen with characters like Lara Croft and her changes is that they've wanted to all around make her normal, make her basic, right? So not only did they take her over the top statuesque Amazonian.
Yeah, that's definitely Amazonian there. I guess, I guess at this point, this girl here is also Amazonian? What? Oh my god. There's like 5 things wrong with this. First off, like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm sorry that different developers didn't have the best game plan when creating a Lara Croft game and transitioning her PlayStation 1, I guess, visuals and gameplay and, overall the game mechanics and everything else, didn't translate over into 3D design very well at any point for any of the 3D games, but besides the point, I guess. I don't even know which one we're complaining about. Is this the one where she had some, like... I remember there was the whole thing about, like, the stick that punctured her in one of the cutscenes, and that was, like... People were like, this is too much, this is like gore and shit, or something. I thought that one had some good reviews. I don't know which one is bad, according to her. Apparently, it's everything that's not on the PlayStation 1.
Beautiful face and beautiful features, right?
That's a beautiful face? Really? Okay.
Not only did they take that
I think
away,
it was the
make her,
triangle tits, but that's just me.
Pretty, but she's pretty, like, in an average kind of way. A girl you could see at one.
What? Are we getting to a coherent point here? What the fuck are you talking about? You were just railing on this now. Oh, they made Lara Croft look average in the games today. God.
Walmart, right? So they've taken her, and you're already limiting the iconography of the character for that reason. So what could they do to make that better? Well, if they made up for it in personality, but instead we also went from the different personality. Classic Lara Croft, right? What made her stand out beyond her looks? Her looks was a huge part of it, but she had a personality that was even more bombastic than even her appearance, right?
No. Not really. I mean, it wasn't anything new. The only characterization was very little in that game. May have just been her voice and the voice tone that she had. That was about it. There wasn't really any other character design there.
She was extremely rebellious, and she was just self-focused on her love for the raid, right?
For the what?
She was over the top in the fact that, she wasn't held down by family drama. She wasn't held down by love interest. She wasn't held down by any of that because she lived for tomb raiding. She lived for the thrill of it all. I'm talking the classic video games, because other material changed that, and none of the other material matches up to what the classic video games were, right? So she was this over-the-top, rebellious...
If you watch these videos, on God, how do you not kill yourself on the daily? Could you honestly tell me you sit through this video for 21 minutes looking at it and you're like, wait a minute, what? What? Got a fucking scripture in here as the ending screen credits. Oh my god. With like a Dark Souls character. Oh my Jesus God. No, yeah, this is definitely the one. This is definitely it. We are definitely. How can you sit through this while she's like just not getting to a point? I mean, even if like let me be generous here. Say, Lara Croft. You know, I haven't played the game, so I don't know. But Lara Croft, they haven't done good on the games recently. Wouldn't you want somebody that knew like where they messed up, how they messed up, you know, talk about it in the video wrapping this up instead of them talking about random shit and One Punch Man for 7 minutes of the video to start off with? Nothing about really Anita Sarkeesian besides her points were stupid. That's literally all we've gotten from this bitch so far. You know, I don't think this what is this person's name? Melonie Mac Go Boom. I don't think that they have the best stuff right here. Can we get to a point?
Rebellious, and she was the thrill of it all. I'm talking the classic video games, because even though sometimes she did things that were over the top, she did what she wanted, when she wanted. Anybody who got in there in her way was taken out, good or bad. That didn't matter. Just don't get in her way, and you're fine. So it was that combination of things on top of her abilities, right? She could do backflips. She was extremely acrobatic, and she used her marksmanship to level the playing field against not only these dudes, but dinosaurs even. I mean, she was taking out dinosaurs. So it's just that larger than life, all three of those elements that made her such a global icon, to where she's still memorable today.
So
now,
true.
If you look at
So true.
Lara Croft, and the reason why she doesn't have as many girls cosplaying as her or dressing up as her as Halloween, or even have near
what on Halloween? I could see it more so in like cosplaying. That would make sense. I guess maybe rarely see it in Halloween. Very rarely. I don't know. That's because you're doing Halloween in October, you know, and a lot of places probably gonna be cold. I mean, maybe, but what? Also, that's like a kids thing. So why would kids be dressed as Lara Croft? I mean, okay, what?
nearly as much of a female fan base as classic Lara, or a fan base in general as much as classic Lara, is simply because you take away all of those grand elements of the character. You make her more relatable in look. You make her more relatable in personality, where she's constantly whining.
Yeah, relatable in look, which means not making her look average, because that was bad before. But now I've kind of forgot that point that I've already made, so just ignore that.
And crying, and anytime she does accomplish anything, it's preceded by an emotional breakdown. Either she has to pep talk herself first and then have an emotional breakdown after, or whatever it may be, but that's how it is. And he even stated in developer interviews, every time she picks herself up, we knock her back down again. That's in the actual interviews. It's deliberate. It's a thing. So you have that.
Yeah, that's not relatable. Gamer losers going through life being knocked down and getting back on their feet and not letting that affect them and still fighting. Yeah, y'all can't relate to that, apparently. Interesting.
She can't do the acrobatics that she used to could do anymore.
What?
It's more grounded, so you really lose a lot of it.
So she's not battling T-Rexes anymore.
Games. Good for you. They're fun games, but are they going to stand the test of time? And will people 20 years from now remember her even close to the way they remember classic Lara Croft? No, let's be real here. So whenever you have a bunch of characters who are average in look, personality, and action, then that's a recipe for a forgettable character. And that is what a lot.
Is this really the rest of the fucking video? Like, what do you fucking losers do? Are you jerking off? Like, what is it? What is it about this video that you find entertaining? I could not sit here listening to more of this fucking shit. I mean, goddamn, like, at least some of these other right-wing losers will get out here and, like, at least try to make a point. At least try to point to something within the games that they may be knowledgeable about, instead of just doing some generic waving of the hand, talking about people who used to dress up as Lara Croft for Halloween, which, what?
What bro?
Bro, I can't. Go back to reading the Bible, bro. You this is not for you. This is not for you. I didn't even realize she made recent videos, but what? Okay, let's hear about this.
Did anybody
I've not seen the Borderlands video, or movie, but
actually think the Borderlands movie was going to be good or a
wow, she still got that. That was from like 10 months ago.
we could all
I don't know how
tell,
long that other
by
video
the
was, actually.
casting alone, but even furthermore, the fact that the trailer we saw so unfunny, it looked like a giant mess. It wasn't gonna really appease
Can we
the
speed this
fans
up?
that much, and the fact that the casting was just atrocious and not really accurate with the characters, and even trying to appeal to a broader audience, it just looks not good. So let's dive into why this has failed so much on many levels. I mean, also the fact that it came so late when Borderlands is not at the peak of its relevancy right now. So just odd timing on top of all of that. So right now on Rotten Tomatoes, Borderlands is sitting at a 6%. Mind you, it was at a 0% with the critic reviews earlier yesterday morning. And then it jumped up to, I want to say 6% whenever, because it had one positive.
Honestly, I don't normally do this for these losers. Oh, you need to actually enable ads. Turn off ad blocker. So when you're doing this, nobody gives a fuck about what it was before and how it changed. I mean, maybe briefly say something real quick, but you don't need to go on a tangent about this shit. Like, goddamn, I don't need to hear you going off on some random, like, tangent in the middle of nowhere that has nothing to do. Your video is about why the Borderlands movie is such a failure. We should dive into that. I'm already a minute in. The last video about Anita Sarkeesian, you were 2 minutes in still talking about Lara Croft that had nothing to do with Anita Sarkeesian. Not even her arguments or anything. Just you ranting about some random shit. You gotta stop. You gotta pick it up. Also, come on now. I mean, I will flag people's videos because they are annoying. I'll flag them because
Positive tomato.
they waste time. How y'all sit here, right-wing losers? You sit here and you're like, well, this is great. Let me thumbs up this video because it matches with me, with my ideology. I tell you this, man. I don't care if you are leftist or what. Like, if you're sitting there and your voice is annoying, I will flag your video. I will thumb it down. I will hate you forever. It does not take much for me. Y'all just over here sucking dicks on each other, like, on the regular. Because somebody agrees with, I guess, your ideology, and man, that's pathetic.
Review.
I should say something about June the King because that retard over there sat over there, uploaded a video about low tier gone, then was surprised that this guy that he previously covered in this video and revealed his personal information and his personal name. Real life name. Then Low Tier God flags the video. June the King goes in and puts in a counterclaim. So that puts out his personal information to Low Tier God when you do that. And June the King is then surprised when Low Tier God reveals his personal information. So That guy is such a fucking idiot, too, because he'll cover things and then not cover them correctly, and then will just spew random shit that has nothing to do with the person they're covering half the time. It's mostly you could get an AI to do June the King's YouTube videos, and it will be no different than what he's uploading right now. The quality and everything will be the same.
They don't like my ad block.
That's a real tangent. Bible girl.
Ads. Anyway, so
get this off the screen, buddy.
It was at a 7% for a little bit. User reviews were at over a 50%, but then they dropped to 48%.
Oh my Jesus
now
God.
Because, I mean, let's be real. It looks terrible. So even Business Insider wrote an article about how a video game adaptation starring 2 Oscar winners became the year's biggest flop. That's the thing, is it doesn't matter what kind of star power you have.
I mean, okay, you're just reading articles to me? Is that the YouTube video? That's what 100 subscribers gets you nowadays.
Let me read some internet articles on my YouTube channel back to people.
My God. I'm sorry, I can't. You're not even like. Oh my Jesus God. Jesus God. I can't. Go back to the playlist. Let's pull something else up. My
so
God.
we know this
No, stop talking. Stop talking.
Years ago, I
Let's
made a
start from
video
the top.
about how if you don't like seeing lewd things online, simply close your eyes and walk away. But what happens when you do close your eyes and walk away, but no matter where you walk away to, you bump right back into it? Whether it's on Twitter, TikTok, or even Twitch. Dasani water. I'm gonna get canceled for this. All these years, and this is what's gonna get me canceled. I don't want to hear it from any water snobs, okay? Where are my fellow Dasani heads at? But anyway, do you like the red hair? A lot of the Twitch thoughts that I'm gonna be talking about have red hair. I felt like I was missing out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are talking about the Twitch thought epidemic and its consequences, as well as OnlyFans culture and the de-civilization of I promise this will all make sense. Maybe. Like all my videos are just kind of messy brain vomit.
You know, you don't have any. This is not for Shu, but she does this obviously. She's already done it. But you have no integrity if you sit there and. By the way, what are those Blue Yeti settings? Are we serious? Besides that, I can't talk. You have no integrity if you are a YouTube uploader, and you sit there and you use different words to replace words that'll get demonetized, which it's not even demonetized. It's like putting on ads that don't get as much money as the regular stuff, because of the topics that you're covering. If you try and bypass that because you're too much of a pussy to say bad words on stream and you'll make a little less money, you can't tell me that you have integrity. Let's continue.
I mean, I guess that's one way you could be sure I'm not plagiarizing. When I start to sound smart and make sense, that's a red flag. I figured out how to use ChatGPT. So for those of you who are unaware, Twitch is a video game streaming website, or at least it used to be, where people often stream themselves playing video games and interact with their viewers. But recently, in the past few years, it has been invaded by women. But not only women, naked women. Now you might be asking, Shu, what is wrong with that? And normally, you'd be correct. But Twitch is a website for kids, advertised for users 12 and up, and predominantly used by young boys. And the question on everyone's mind is, are these evil Jezebels preying on today's youth? Or are they simply the product of capitalism? Clever, sneaky women taking advantage of people living under a brutal system in order to selfishly make money. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Before we get into this, let's quickly get into today's sponsor. When you're browsing the internet, you may think all your personal information is safe on there. Well, you're wrong. Unfortunately, it's become all too easy for hackers and data brokers to find all our personal information, including our full legal name, phone number, and even our address. Am I fucking stupid? It's gotten so bad that every 14 seconds,
am I fucking stupid?
becomes the victim of identity theft. And people
no, I'm not listening to this dumb shit.
during this video and
not naked women. I mean, God forbid that somebody watches something on Twitch that's not exclusively. Well, this doesn't even fucking make sense. Like, there's inbred game on Twitch all the time. This was just a situation where they had new stuff coming in that they weren't prepared for and they didn't know how to handle. And so they tried to adhere the rules to what was going on and tried to change things accordingly to new stuff that was happening. So I don't even know. This is We got some people like crying like little babies about the most random shit online.
As always, thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Now let's get back to the
Forbid,
video.
I can't see my titties on.
So about 2 weeks
Facebook.
ago, this tweet showed up on my Twitter timeline.
Okay, now that was
What's going on with
that was
Twitch?
kind of
It
crazy.
showed a
But that girl, she did, if I remember correctly, like she pulled the camera down to show like she wasn't naked. Like she just, I don't know what it was. She had like some low-hanging top or something like that didn't have straps on or something. I don't know.
streamer wearing no shirt, swinging her fun bags around slightly off camera every time she got a donation. So for strictly research purposes, I went to Twitch to see if this was real, and surely enough it was, and it wasn't just one streamer, it was many, it was multiple. It was the entire home
The meta.
page. And then
Let's
when you went
go.
to click on one of the streams, it just took you there. No verification needed, no login required, nothing. And the whole internet pretty much agreed this was insane. Not everyone, we will get to that, but most people agreed this was crossing a line. Because of all the outrage, Twitch changed the rules. Not to fix the website, they changed the rules in order to save the Twitch thoughts. Twitch actually doubled down and made it so twerking, pole dancing, and artistic nudity
It's also crazy too, like this fucking loser on here, Shoe on Head, who, by the way, I'll say, what was this? This was about 10 years ago. I had a live stream, and somebody re-uploaded it onto YouTube. That bitch had like 50 views on it. Nobody saw that shit. She commented on the video, and then deleted it like 10 hours later. This bitch cannot take any criticism at all. Blocked me on Twitter the first time I responded to one of her tweets. Sarcastically, of course. Can't take anything. But what kills me is that these people will sit there and they're like, they'll modify their videos to not say the word sex or sex predators or one of these bad words. One of those words that gets them less money than usual. That's fine. Nothing weird there. That's not, I guess, an issue when you're talking about rape and predators and sexual assault, but just replacing the words or with other words. Like I heard people say something like unalive, like when talking about suicide and stuff like that, to get past the censors or whatever. That's okay. That's fine if Shu does that. But these weirdos, positioning their webcams in suggestive places, not acceptable.
was allowed. Artistic nudity.
Oh my god.
Right.
Clicked
So
on the wrong
obviously,
thing again.
Twitch is run by simps. We knew this. Anyway. Artistic nudity. So, like, can you glue googly eyes onto your d-? Can you do, like, a little meat spin on camera with googly eye, and that would be considered cool and fine? Because
Yes.
it's art, right, Twitch?
Yes.
Why am I still doing this? So then VTubers, animated YouTubers, took advantage of this new artistic nudity rule and started streaming their avatars butt-ass naked.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
Only for them to get banned while the Twitch thoughts remained. Clearly, 2D girl discrimination. A few days later, Twitch finally banned the Twitch thoughts for a day.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. Okay, time's up.
This has been going on for a
Yeah, same thing. If this happened to Shu, right, and she bypassed the rules by trying to circumvent getting demonetized by saying the same word but in a slightly different way to bypass the censors, and then she got banned for it, she would say that's censorship. That would be totally wrong. Absolutely immoral for YouTube to do. These people doing the same thing, can't do that. Can't do that. That's terrible.
very long time. From hot tub streams to ASMR ear licking.
Okay, now actually, hold on. That's actually not bad. Listen, some people like that, and I need to stress, I don't personally listen to it, but I can see where somebody would not have an issue with it.
For this stuff.
Also, it's
in the
not
past
sexual.
3 years, following a pattern I have been seeing online. A huge increase of OnlyFans models and...
Wait a minute, that girl we watched before, she was a ASMR Bible reader. incredible. What I'm seeing today
Everywhere.
is
And it
amazing.
isn't just my observation, it's a fact. There are many studies that came out that show pornography and pornography addiction increased significantly during the pandemic, especially for young people, and hasn't decreased since. And the amount of people making content on OnlyFans has skyrocketed. Being locked in our houses absolutely did something to our brains. You used to have to go out of your way to see this stuff, and now it's everywhere. Now, compare this to how I talked about this issue a few years ago, where I would make fun of people for complaining about. This is like walking into a strip club and being like, get your horny asses out of here. The difference is now, everywhere is the strip club. It's to the point where even meme accounts on Twitter are being paid to discreetly advertise OnlyFans pages. And you can't even block the accounts that show up as ads on Twitter. Great website, Elon. 13 plus, by the way. And anyone who points this out is called a prude or a conservative. If you have an issue with naked women making softcore on a website full of children,
All right,
you're
fix
the
the
problem.
chat.
How does
Thank
the
God.
overall well-being of society affect you, bigot?
Are we gonna get
Most
to the
of the internet
fucking
seems
point
to
here?
agree that this Twitch thing was wrong, but there were a lot of people mad at me and others for pointing out the obvious. So we're gonna respond to some of those critiques from people who disagree on this subject, and then we're gonna talk a little more deeply about all of this, because I feel like it's a little deeper than the Twitch thoughts.
All right, just
The
move
thoughts
on.
are just
Move
a
on. Get to
symptom
it,
of
please, God.
Why doesn't Twitch just make a new 18 plus site? They do this on Twitch because the market is already saturated on actual porn cam sites. They won't stand out. They can find a larger, younger audience on Twitch. What I'm trying to say is, these should be banned. Okay, so my tweet was a little harsh, but am I wrong? Blaming these women for what Twitch allows and calling them accomplishes nothing except morally grandstanding that you think you're better than them. So first of all, I am better than them. So are you. So is
Okay, I'm sure. Isn't this the same person that had their news leaked by one of their exes and is now talking about their moral upstanding against Twitch thoughts? Okay. I mean, we're going on some questionable boundaries here on who you want to call out, shoot.
everyone who doesn't make porn on Twitch. And second of all, I know calling them whores does nothing. I did it
Not
because
that
it was
that's
funny.
acceptable,
These are
but
grown-ass
still,
women toying
that's-
with the TOS. They know
I
what
mean,
they're
you're in a
doing
very
is wrong. They know
interesting
they're walking a fine
situation
line.
there.
That's why they're here on Twitch and not on the hundreds of adult websites that exist. If a pair of tits are so dangerous to you, maybe you should lock yourself in the cave. Cry more, little bro, and tell your fellow bros to stop thinking with their dicks. Hello, fellow bros. Stop thinking with your dicks. Brace yourselves. The incel's about to lose their mind.
This isn't even interesting. Shoe's just really unentertaining.
Hello, friends, and happy.
Please, oh my Jesus, God, stop talking. Has she made anything recently? The war on normal guys? I think I'm just gonna move
Hello,
on
friends,
this
and
one.
happy. Years ago, I.
So feminist frequency has put a lot
Oh,
of
we're back to feminist frequency. Let's go.
work and research into her latest video of tropes versus women.
Each video in this new series will be between 10 and 20 minutes long, with well-researched, in-depth analysis.
Indeed, Anita told us just how seriously she would take the research on this video,
As you might imagine, this project requires an enormous amount of research.
using her skills as a pop culture critic.
As a pop culture critic,
Now, I'm a pop culture critic. I am a feminist and I'm a woman.
To make sure that this was very well researched.
this is an incredibly ambitious project because of the scope and scale of the research and production involved.
Well, let's just see how well researched this video actually was, shall we?
So, without further ado, let's jump right into the damsel in distress.
For instance, she describes Double Dragon Neon like this.
Most recently, Double Dragon Neon in 2012 reintroduced new gamers to this regressive crap yet again, this time in full HD.
Without mentioning that the game Double Dragon Neon ends like this.
One day to antagonize you, Billy and Jimmy!
Oh, right in the balls.
Which I kid you not,
Great, Thunderfoot. You really got him right there. Unfortunately, you seem to miss the part where she describes the trope and then relates that to the video game utilizing that trope, and then somehow didn't dispel that. You just wanted to try to make a point without doing it. I don't know. I mean, that's great, but good try.
Then goes on
Good
to
try.
describe like this.
Pattern of presenting women as fundamentally weak, ineffective, or ultimately incapable has larger ramifications beyond the characters themselves. And
Yeah, that's right. The game that ends with Marion breaking a 20-foot tall, super space-lit man in half like a toothpick by punching him in the balls is apparently...
The pattern of presenting women as fundamentally weak, ineffective, or ultimately incapable has larger ramifications beyond...
I think we're going to have a fundamental disagreement.
Ignore the other 99% of the game that Thunderfoot didn't play.
About what constitutes well-researched here, Anita. Now, this really wasn't the best damsel in distress you could have used in your first tropes versus women's video. I mean, really, did you have to start with the straw man in the title? Do you really think that tropes are specifically adversarial to women? Maybe I should title this...
I think he's just retarded. He didn't like go over her explaining the trope and then like is trying to go against the trope. He's just like, no, actually the tropes are good.
This video in a reciprocatively fair fashion. Maybe something like feminism versus facts. You know, not just scoring on the parody, but on the alliteration as well. But like I say, feminist free...
You know what? I'm not going to... Wait, what is this? Libs of...
Do you know what? Is that a
Oh,
public
did I see... Oh, that's 53 minutes. No chance I'm going to watch that. Bearing, what is this? Oh, that's that one.
It's Black History Month, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to highlight and celebrate the achievements of black people everywhere. Like Australian Aboriginal cricketer Ashley Gardner, activist and writer Sean King, and former NAACP chapter president Rachel Dolezal. Truly outstanding pillars of the black community. But seriously, it's February, so it's time to celebrate or complain, or grovel and apologise, depending on your skin tone.
This is the Lord's work right here. And this is a good white woman, man. She's showing her deeds, man, to the Lord, man.
So is Black History Month necessary? Is it important? I don't really care, to be honest. Have a year. Have a decade. It's no skin off my
I don't
nose.
really
If you're
care. I
proud
just
of
got
being
mad
a
at this
black person,
YouTube
you should
video.
be proud all the time, not just February. But February is in fact Black History Month. And it's funny to watch all the discourse unfold. So that's what we're gonna do right after this. Check out this awesome new game, Honkai Star Rail. Now available on PS5 with data sync across PC and mobile. This new multi-platform galactic fantasy RPG.
These are the sponsors this guy gets. Oh no.
Hi, fellow white people. Black History Month is tomorrow. Let's not do anything to ruin it this year. Okay, my fellow milk crickets? We're gonna be good this year. Yes, we are. And if we are, maybe you'll get a prize.
My fellow milk crickets. God, look at those eyes. They look like they're gonna snap and do something crazy one day.
Maybe you'll get a prize. But you have to be good. You can't ruin Black History Month this year. Okay? Thank you, my babies. Bye.
Okay, she's legit scary. Again, it's just those eyes. And milk crickets. Here's a fun fact. Urban Dictionary defines milk cricket as the sexual act of putting live crickets or grasshoppers in your partner's anus, then giving them an anal cream pie. Dude 1, bro, how'd your date go last night? Dude 2, good.
I don't think the people agree here, Bearing.
Good. We finished the night off with a milk cricket. Who fucking thinks of this shit? A milk cricket. Like, how did that come into being? You see this cricket I've got here? Yeah? Why don't we just, insert that into your anus? And then I'll raw dog you from behind and jizz all over the cricket.
Hey, white men. Due to systemic and structural racism that black women have had to endure, they only make 64 cents to every dollar that you make.
Oh, come on, the wage gap shit again? That's been debunked so many times, I'm not even gonna bother. If you're only making 64 cents for every white man's dollar, then earn more. Don't tell me it's not an hours gap or a skills gap or a having the...
Guys, have you thought about applying for a promotion? Maybe a raise? Why don't you take the jobs that actually pay more money? I know that if anybody does watch this at any point, they may get the appearance or thought that this guy, oh, he can't be serious. This must be a joke. No, he's been doing this for over a decade. He had the same voice. He's been this autistic his whole life. He's just this dumb.
Nutsack to ask for a raise gap. In most Western countries, businesses can't legally pay you less just because you're a black woman. That's just not how it works.
Hey boss, this black
There's no way to break the laws, everybody.
broad's complaining about white men again. Says she wants to earn the same amount of money.
Tell her she can suck on my big white spiky dick.
As a fitting start to Black History Month, I want to take what you will make today, multiply it by 64%, and then take that difference and give it to some black women today.
No.
This shows that you are honoring them, that you are appreciating them, and that you are dedicated.
He's just getting trolled on TikTok, it looks like.
Now apologizing for what it calls an unintentionally insensitive decision on the first day of Black History Month. It offered students at Nyack Middle School a hot lunch comprising of chicken and waffles with watermelon for dessert. The dish playing into cultural stereotype.
Well, that says banana, not watermelon, which is probably going to upset the same type of people. And when I say the same type of people, I'm probably leaning more towards white savior lefty types. I mean, what's wrong with chicken and waffles and watermelon or banana for dessert? I thought...
Ignore the people in the news footage that I'm going to show here that are not white. Ignore that.
A lot of black people like those things. Why wouldn't you have them on the menu during Black History Month? I'm a European Australian. I love me some barbecued lamb chops and pavlova on Australia Day. That's as stereotypical as it gets. Why would I be offended by it?
The school principal says the menu was changed without the school's knowledge. Eyewitness News reporter Crystal Cranmore with more from Nyack.
Community members are fired up after students at Nyack Middle School in Rockland County were served chicken, waffles, and watermelon for lunch on February 1st, the start of Black History Month.
I was very confused because watermelon isn't really in the season.
Honor Santiago immediately told her mom when she got home, both outraged by the message they say it sends to its African American students.
Just making like the kids like feel bad, especially like the kids that are my color.
Well, that sucks that she felt bad, but why did she feel bad? Is it just an assumption that it's meant to be offensive? Like, what's the logic behind this? Are there other types of offensive food? What are they?
The local NAACP.
Why isn't Australia talking about fucking things going on in America? Does he not have any local things to comment on?
I gotta comment on the culture wars affecting somebody else across the globe. I don't know anything about their cultures, by the way, but this is definitely overreacting.
My God.
Oh wait, wrong video. I forgot about the Army's new woke anime SJW program. Let's go.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
So, yeah.
What was that? Who was that guy? Wait, what?
I'm not sure if I was a youngster, if I would feel like the Army's patronizing me, making human beings anime characters, or what. So the calling, we got a lineup of people here, represents, I don't know, the minority of America, why they're doing this, why they're putting their money towards this program, this recruiting tool. I haven't even seen the whole thing. We'll find out.
Okay.
This is the story of a soldier who operates your nation's Patriot missile defense systems. It begins in California.
All right, so I like the part about a soldier who operates Patriot defense missile systems. Sounds like a good job. Kind of a techie job, but, you know, sounds good so far.
With a little
Nothing I can complain about so far, guys. Shoot missiles? Hell yeah, brother.
So why does it matter if there's two moms, one mom only, latchkey kid, one dad only?
Wait, is that what that was?
Sounds good so
I mean, I guess? I really couldn't tell. I guess the lips, maybe this one is also a girl, but I don't know. Also, who cares?
So why does it matter if there's two moms, one mom only?
Yeah, why does it matter,
kid,
buddy?
One
Why
dad
does it?
only? Two regular... Oh, let me back up. Sorry, YouTube. Two heterosexual parents that have a child? I don't think it matters in a recruiting tool. I'm trying to understand how the taxpayer dollars are being used for this, because this thing's been hammered pretty hard.
Although I had a fairly typical childhood, took ballet, played violin, I also marched for equality. I like to think I've been defending freedom from an early age. When I was 6 years old, one of my...
Now the U.S. Army's got a whole slew of those, and I'll do a little bit towards the end, but you'll get the point here. This video's on YouTube. It got the comments turned off. Take a look at the like ratio to dislike ratio. Epic fail. The Army came out and said, well, we turned the comments off because it's against our core values. So like a government institution, you're paying for it. They turn the comments off because the people paying for it don't like it. Huh.
Mom's had an accident.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was.
Doctor said she might never walk again.
Now, when I flip through this, just looking at it from afar, I go, oh, there's a mom and a dad. Like they couldn't make a more of a stereotype on this video because it looks like the woman in the bed, it's a woman, mind you, is a man. You know, you could have two women parents and not do the stereotype to the nth degree.
What stereotype?
To get back on her feet. Eventually standing at the altar to marry my other...
What is this Mickey Mouse shit? What in the name of Jesus H. Christ are you animals doing?
Oh my Lord. I have no words. Just look at this.
He's so triggered.
I've got a real good friend, two moms. Did they want to be stereotyped into the, you know, the short hair, kind of tough, rugged, and then the feminine, beautiful, blonde woman? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be. You know, I'm not a big SJW warrior on stereotypes, but if you're on the fence on this commercial, this is going to push you right over the fence, running away from it.
Yeah, after this, I'm not going to join the Army. Thank you, sir.
With such powerful role models, I finished high school at the top of my class, and then attended UC Davis, where I joined a sorority full of other strong women. But as graduation approached, I began feeling like I'd been handed so much in life. A sorority girl stereotype. Sure, I'd spent my life around inspiring women, but what had I really achieved on my own? One of my sorority sisters was studying abroad in Italy. Another was climbing Mount Everest. I needed my own adventures, my own
Well, there's a good part of this video, this propaganda. She needed her own adventures.
What? How is this
so
propaganda?
What this has to do with Emma with two moms, like that was the big part of the video, right? Strong woman, getting after the U.S. Army. What this has to do with anything reminds me of the Army getting rid of the shark attack. We want to be loving.
Is trainees being ordered to lift and hold their duffel bags above their heads.
It was mass punishment, so there was nothing to achieve, there was nothing to gain. It was, quite honestly, it was survive it. Just survive whatever was getting thrown at you. But
we're trying to go after a part of the population on a recruitment pool that's like this big. Like a woman raised by two women who want to go in the U.S. Army. We're talking the nth, smallest, teensy-weeniest bit of the population. All right. Is the
Brother, I want you to know that when I watch a commercial with people that are not the same race as me, or gender, or different background, that doesn't mean I just close my eyes and then things just can't be relatable at any point. You fucking idiot. What the Army probably did there is they probably were trying to find positions to where people could relate to or find or show some kind of interest in or encouragement that may not be typically covered by an Army commercial or something that would normally be advertised to them. Somebody creating a commercial here, it looks like, with a background that's not typically associated with the Army. And then having also other stories accompanying this to showcase some people from different backgrounds going in and achieving greatness in the Army, which is what I'm assuming that they're going to pull this all together with. Not a bad message at all, especially if you're one to reach people that may not typically go into the Army, since, I mean, let's face it, they're not going to need to appeal themselves to the conservative side, since, I mean, let's be real here. I think this would probably be a better way to achieve better numbers, but as I've heard it, military is having pretty poor time filling out with recruitment, and so they probably need all they can get on this point.
The best use of taxpayer dollars. It's the best recruiting tool. Let's get to the bottom line. Is this the most effective way to market to young recruits? You guys tell me.
I mean, do you think that it's really going to help anybody to put a white guy in there talking about joining the Army, and that's going to get more people to join as opposed to before? Is that what we're thinking here? I don't think that's going to help either, but okay.
Tell me in the comments, do you think this is effective? Let's keep moving.
And after meeting with an Army recruiter, I found it. A way to prove my inner strength.
It's like total anime fest right there.
It's all anime. It's all a cartoon.
So much for the youngsters, because they can't understand a human being, a human boy or a human girl. We have to understand a cartoon character to get into the Pokemon or whatever the hell it's called culture. I mean, come on, U.S. Army. They need to fire their marketing department immediately.
What?
They're terrible. The whole deal with getting rid of the shark attack. The U.S. Marine Corps is not doing any better.
What does a shark attack have to do with marketing? What? Is he just retarded? He even showed a clip where they're like, yeah, actually, it was a pretty bad thing that people just used to discipline people instead of, and to hurt people, instead of actually achieving anything. That's what he put into the video. And he thought it was good.
Get into a spat with Tucker Carlson about something, who knows what it was. Like, stay doing military shit. Stop doing social justice shit. Let me give you a pro tip. Stay out of that genre.
My singing voice took me all over the world. But no matter...
Oh, this is another one. We're going to taste this a little bit and then cut out, because I don't want to put you fine viewers through the pain.
How far I traveled, how many things I experienced, I kept returning to a feeling inside.
Now, these are real people in the U.S. Army. So somehow the U.S. Army says, hey, we're looking for a woman who's got 2 female parents to do a recruiting ad. I don't think I'd sign up for that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want to look like I'm some disadvantaged, woe is me soldier.
I grew up in an Army family. My dad, uncles, and both of my grandfathers served. So as soon as I turned 17, I asked for my dad's blessing to enlist. But having served in the Army during the Vietnam era, responding to civil...
Oh, wait. The victim card, it's coming. You know, the Army, for you guys that don't know, put in the comments for you guys that are in, is disproportionately, or the military, disproportionately minority. So what I mean by that, 10% of the country is black, it's probably 15, 20, 30, the military. Great thing, right? And you don't care who you work with. Like if the person's purple and they're good, you say, hey, I want that purple guy, the dinosaur, Barney.
Rest. He said no.
What did that have to do with him cracking up here about Vietnam and getting triggered? Jesus.
He had his reasons. So I turned to singing. First on the Strip in Vegas. Then, after a performance at the Apollo.
Oh, and remember, young people in my viewing audience, you can't make the decision yourself. You're going to go to your dad who was in Vietnam and go, hey, it's a lot of discrimination in the Army when I was in, so you shouldn't join in 2021. Does that make any sense? And what dad...
That's definitely what they said right there.
This is a good one. What dad of this child in 2021 is going to have served in Vietnam? That's like my mother's age, and I'm an old boomer. U.S. Army fail number, I don't know, 50 in this video.
Top cruise line, where I spent 5 years traveling everywhere, over 70 different countries.
I think I'm watching BuzzFeed or Vox. This, I want to hear from you, fine viewers again. Is this an effective tool? And if you think it is, tell me why. Did it like connect with your heart? And better, did it make you want to join the military? Because the point is not connecting with the goodness and the virtuous of everybody, but getting people to join the Army. That's the point. And thanks for watching.
He just get mad about Vietnam, and he's like, why would somebody have a bad reaction from Vietnam? Also, how are they still alive at this time? What? Okay, let's say somebody from Vietnam was in Vietnam during 1970s. I mean, they would have a kid around in the 90s, I guess. Early 90s, maybe late 90s. That would put them on track to having an opportunity to have a kid that's thinking about going into the Army at this time when that video was released, so that's not off at all. But sure, no, that's definitely crazy. Math. Who thought of it?
This has to be the last question.
All right, I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
Earlier when you talked about criminality and creativity trends in men peaking at 14, it reminded me of something you said. I think it was Joe Rogan talking about SJWs and kind of in how they create their own chaos, talking about how adolescents have this drive to change the world. And I was wondering if those three, the criminality, creativity, drive to change the world, are linked, and if so, if they manifest differently in men and women, and if they kind of come from the same area.
Well, I think they are linked, but I'm going to concentrate more on the second part of your question. So I'm going to ask you guys to think about something. So I talked to a friend of mine the other day.
I can't get over his voice. I can't.
We've been talking about, well, all the sorts of things that we've been talking about tonight for a long time, and we were talking about the relative evolutionary roles of men and women. This is speculative, obviously. And because our research did indicate, it's tentative research so far, that the SJW sort of equality above all.
Did he mispronounce SJW? It's just letters, bro.
Because our research did indicate, it's tentative research so far, that...
What the fuck is tentative research? What do you... My research of looking at videos online.
That the SJW sort of equality above all else.
Boy, you just don't get it, do
more
you?
prevalent among women. It's predicted by the personality factors that are more common among women. So agreeableness and high negative emotion. Primarily agreeableness. But in addition, it's also predicted by being female. And that's interesting because in most of the personality research that I've done, and as far as I know in the literature more broadly speaking, most of the time you can get rid of the attitudinal differences between men and women, or at least reduce them by controlling for personality. So if you take a feminine man and a masculine woman, then the poles reverse. But that didn't seem to be the case with political correctness. And so I've been thinking about that a lot because, well, men are bailing out of the humanities like mad, and pretty much out of the universities except for STEM.
Humanities like math? I don't know why they revoked your license, buddy. You're definitely doing some great stuff here, Jordan.
Women are moving in like mad, and they're also moving into the political sphere like mad. And this is new, right? We've never had this happen before, and we do not know what the significance of it is. It's only 50 years old. And so we were thinking about this, and so I don't know what you think about this proposition, but imagine that historically
What do your feelings tell you about this?
It's something like women were responsible for distribution and men were responsible for production. Something like that. And maybe that's only the case really in the tight confines of the immediate family, but that doesn't matter because that's most of the evolutionary landscape for human beings anyways. What the women did was make sure that everybody got enough. Okay, and that seems to me to be one of the things that's driving, at least in part, the SJW demand for equity and equality. It's like, let's make sure everybody has enough. It's like, well, look, fair enough, you know, I mean, you can't argue with that. But there's an antipathy between that and the reality of differential productivity, you know, because people really do differ in their productivity. So, all right, so to answer your question fully, I do think that the rebellious tendency of adolescence is associated both with that criminality spike, especially among men, and with creativity. Yes. I think that the SJW phenomena is different, and I think it is associated, at least in part, with the rise of women to political power. And we don't know what women are like when they have political power, because they've never had it. I mean, there's been queens, obviously, and that sort of thing. There's been female authority figures, and females have wielded...
Let me contradict myself here, actually, and prove myself wrong.
...far more power historically than feminists generally like to admit. But this is a different thing. And we don't know what a truly female political philosophy would be like. But it might be, especially if it's not been well examined and it isn't very sophisticated conceptually. It could easily be.
The female mind is all one thing.
Well, yeah, but sorry, that's just not going to fly.
Do you think in terms of the West with the SJWs, and you talked about last lecture as well, creating chaos when there is none, otherwise it'd be static, do you think there would be any validity in saying that in a country like Canada where we're pretty gender equal, is there any merit to thinking SJWs are trying to create chaos even when there arguably is none on a mass level? Obviously there's still problems.
Why would they do that?
Otherwise it would be static, and that drive,
well,
it wouldn't, but I'm just
so I
wondering.
I read this quote once, and I don't remember who said it.
What? You know what? This guy is definitely killing it right now. Definitely killing it. You know, I mean, I don't know.
You once said the most dangerous person is...
I'd feel pretty bad if this was somebody I looked up to and I was like, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy. He's definitely got it. You must stand up against woke ideologies. Okay, sure. What does Jordan Peterson think about Andrew Tate? Okay.
Opinions on Andrew Tate and the masculine movement happening in young men across the globe.
What the fuck is this?
Well, I really haven't said anything about Andrew Tate, and I probably won't tonight. But well,
flag the video.
Comments about the Andrew Tate
flag the video.
You know, I would say is that the mystery
report
is
spam or misleading. Misleading text. Yep. Next. Report. Close.
There is a mystery in relationship to Andrew Tate, and the mystery is, why is he so popular? And I think part of the reason he's so popular is because he doesn't easily bend a knee, so to speak, you know, and it isn't obvious to me that he doesn't bend a knee because of his stellar moral character, but because I'm not particularly, what would you say, impressed by what he's done on the sex business front. It seems to me a bit on the pimpy side, let's say. And I'm not a great admirer of pimps. So, even if they're the electronic version. And so, you know, but I don't know that much about the details of his life. And apart from that, you know, rather casual diagnosis, I'm going to leave it alone. But there is a mystery there, and the mystery is, you know, why has he captured the public imagination? And it's clear that he's become a voice, maybe, you know, maybe like a kind of a violent rapper, same sort of attraction to young men. And that attraction is the attraction.
Boy, this is boring.
What's the alternative to a kind of cringing defeat? You know, and so maybe a forthright aggression is a
TheQuartering is trash. Wait, what?
Defeat.
Is that an actual video? Did somebody say that? Bro, this guy has to be the laziest content creator. He just pays somebody to make his thumbnails. Maybe he pays somebody to edit him, edit his videos, but they're all like the same stock stuff. So it's all repeated. Like, look at this shit. Maybe the thumbnail, maybe. But that's gotta be it. I mean, all he does is just stand in front of a thing and talks about his opinions for 10 to 15 minutes.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from TheQuartering, and I don't think there's a channel online that's been covering this fast food insanity as deeply and as aggressively as I have, and I hope you're enjoying the coverage because it's been a very predictable set of circumstances. So many fast food restaurants were forced to raise everybody's salary that worked for them to a minimum of $20 an hour, a $4 an hour raise over the previous minimum. Many people thought, holy smokes, $20 an hour to flip burgers, that seems pretty good. I also want to point out, look, if you're an employee at this place, not your fault. Make your money. If the government wants to impose these minimum wage laws that pays you more money to flip burgers or to work at McDonald's, I got no beef with you. You shouldn't feel bad about it. You shouldn't feel ashamed about it. Make your money, okay? Now, the California are seeking.
This is in California.
Another pay increase just months after the states implemented a controversial law raising the minimum wage for the industry to $20. After its implementation in April, eateries reduced hours, shut down establishments, and raised menu prices. So, like I've said, companies are going to company. They're not going to make less money, okay?
Hold on, they're asking an increase of 70 cents per hour? That's it? That's what he's complaining about? Hold up. Let me get the old calculator out here. Did he... Hold up, okay. So, 70 cents an hour times 40, right? That's got us at 28, right? And then we times that by 52. And is that where he's, no, 8,000. Where is 8,000 coming from?
That's not going to happen. And so what do they do?
Okay, $8,000. But where did $8,000 come from? Is that 8,000? Okay, so 7 to 20. What is that? We'll say 13 times 40. So that's 1 week, and then was there like 52 weeks in it? No, I don't know where he's. Maybe, I don't know.
Pass it on to the consumer. They pass it on to you, and we've already talked about what happens. Then managers at restaurants. So instead of having 5 people working during the lunch rush, they have 3. And guess what happens when you're a customer? Longer wait times, worse service, angry customers. This is just a very predictable, slow collapse. We've already seen something like 10,000 workers laid off the last time they got a raise. And the workers that were left were getting less hours. So at the end of the week, they were actually taking home less pay. Any moron could have seen this coming. Not the communists, not the socialists, not the Kamala Harrises of the world.
The communists, a.k.a. the workers? This is a fast food workers union. They actually work in the field, you fucking retard.
Government just raising the minimum wage is just going to make...
Please click my link so I can get some money and revenue, because I really need it, unlike you poor fucking fast food workers, idiots.
Companies want to make less money, especially publicly traded ones. When the reality is, they do not make less money, and they don't make and they don't help anybody. They just raise the prices, screw over the customer.
Making more money does not help anybody. That is great analysis.
And cut hours of the staff and screw.
Oh my god! So these are the times when he uploads videos? I mean, to me, you know, and this is different for different people, right? Like, if you're an actual news place that actually uploads news, that's one thing. If you're some internet retard that pisses himself in the fucking basement, and you get outraged over random articles you read online, you know, this comes across very inauthentic, right? Your uploads are already scheduled in advance, that you have 5 YouTube videos that you put out a day. Damn. Bro is fucking desperate. Holy shit. And all you're doing, right? All this guy's doing is he's sitting there. I should actually do this. Just do this for a week. Just pull up random fucking articles online. Look no more into it. Just all feels, all vibes. Just everything is based off of my feelings. Oh, people asking for raises. Don't you realize that they're paying you as much as they can? Now our prices for fries are gonna go up. Golly gee willikers.
Screw them over, or they fire them altogether. After its implementation in April, again, it's April this year, so now it's August, eateries, of course, reduced hours, shut down establishments, and raised menu prices. Any moron saw that coming. On Wednesday, the California Fast Food Workers Union, part of the Service Employees Union, demanded yet another increase of 70 cents an hour by January. So the $20 an hour wasn't enough, and now they have a deadline of 4 months to give them another raise. I don't even understand. Like, look, again, go ahead, you slay queen.
Why would people want more money?
You go do your thing. You go ahead and request your raise, but don't come crying to me when you get laid off or when your restaurant closes your location because they can no longer be profitable in it. Quote, as California's fast food industry grows, cooks and cashiers are doubling down on their fight across the state to win safe and healthy stores, stable hours that pays to keep up with inflation, and training to understand their rights on the job. This CAFFWU became the first ever statewide fast food workers union when it was established in February. When it was founded, the group declared it was hitting the ground running with 3 core priorities: more money, more protections against, quote, unfair firings, and ensuring better schedules. Dude, this is just going to destroy the fast food industry. That's what's going to happen. And in particular, by the way, it's not just in California that this is happening. Basically, most of your far lefty leaning states, so you're going to have Portland, Oregon, Seattle and Washington, California, I assume New York, a lot of these states, they're just going to run fast food out of business. That's what's going to happen.
God forbid you don't get your McDoubles. My God. Or that they actually pay the person that's delivering your McDonald's to you a decent wage. My God, who would have known? McDonald's no longer existing in California, except that's the most McDonald's in a state in the United States.
According to KTLA, increased job stability, fair payment was owed, back pay, and stable schedules. They want what? They want to not lose their hours? Well, maybe you shouldn't be demanding $21 an hour to flip burgers, because what's
when the alternative of this is that these employers are committing wage theft, they're discriminating, they have hazardous working conditions, they're abusing their employees, and they don't pay them. I think that the better thing to do here, is that's what they were doing before, when they were going based off of TheQuartering's recommendation of not paying their employees a living wage. I think that they're probably going in the right direction by not allowing that dumb shit to happen to them, and instead asking for fair wage, fair work environment, and not having their employer steal their money. That would be a great cause, yeah. Boosting the minimum wage for restaurants that have at least 60 locations nationwide, except those that make and sell their own bread. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what? What? Why is that a thing? Wait, so if Wendy's makes their own bread, they don't have to adhere to this? Wait. Wait, the annual salary is $41,000. This is what he's complaining about. Is somebody making $41,000 a year, working a full-time job at a restaurant? He's complaining about that. Boy, you can't even get a one-bedroom apartment off of that. And he's complaining.
What's going to happen when you get that raise is you're going to lose hours. That's what happens. The group formed well after Governor Newsom signed the legislation into law in September, effectively boosting the minimum wage for restaurants that had at least 60 locations nationwide, except for those that sell their own bread, for whatever reason, from $16 to $20. This equates to a salary of $41,600 a year. The median fast food worker in the U.S. earned $13.50 an hour in 2022, while in California they made $16.60. In addition to the pay raises, the legislation also established a fast food council. By the way, all your union dues, you make 70 cents more an hour, but guess what your union dues are going to be? $1 an hour. Newsom signed into legislation this law in September, saying that California is home to more than 500,000.
The union dues, where you're giving $1 an hour based off of my feelings, but they've already increased your wages within the first 6 months, which is something I'm complaining about here in my video. But your dues are going to nothing, even though I'm complaining about the nothing that they're doing. Oh my god! Bro can't keep his facts straight. He can't keep his mind on the
money.
propaganda he's got to pull out.
Restaurants simply increased their prices, cut employee hours. According to a recent report from the Employment Policies Institute, 98% of restaurants surveyed said they've already raised the cost of menu items, and 93% plan to do so next year. According to the EPI, additionally, 89%.
I can't believe he was complaining when nationwide it's $13 an hour, and then in California it's $16 an hour, and they're already doing fine, and they didn't raise their menu items. But then after going to $20 an hour, they now have to raise their menu prices on this shit. Like, oh my god. The Whopper's now going to cost $3, $4. My god.
Reported already reducing the number of employees' hours, and 87% plan to do the exact same next year. I don't really understand it. You know, I don't understand how you could be this much of a silly goose. Like, I don't understand how you could possibly, think that this, I don't know how you could think this wasn't going to play out like this. I mean, who is giving these people this advice? California Fast Food Union now asking for even more money. Again, we're talking about 3 months after they just got a $8,000 a year raise. 3 months ago, they got an $8,000 a year raise. Now they want another $2,000.
Where is he getting $8,000? I've got to figure this out. That's a $4 an hour wage. That's a $4 an hour increase for a whole year working full time. Is what he's talking about. That's where he's getting this number from. We finally found it.
So effectively, they're asking the government now. The union is now asking for the minimum wage to be raised to $20.70 from the beginning of next year to keep up with the cost of living. This is where socialism fails. Okay, capitalism If you want $20 an hour, then don't.
Capitalism right now is why socialism fails. My God. No wonder he's trash. And you could just copy and paste this for the next 5,000 years, and you'll have your quarterly videos. How do people watch this? Like, are they actually entertained by this? There's no way. What the fuck is Minds?